Hey everybody, it's Adam Tracy, and you see all this sort of like chatter, or I get an inquiry now and again about getting a license for issuing a token, right? And right off the bat, for a security token, there's really no license anywhere in the world because it falls under securities laws of that nation, right? Or the nations into which you sell. And it simply doesn't, it's not a license. Like, you may have to get an approval depending on how the manner of sale. You may have to file a prospectus depending on where you are, but it's not like a license as if you're getting like a crypto license, right? And it's odd because people are selling these and I don't know really what they're selling them about. So I did some digging, and when you're talking about utility tokens, right? Remember, like, utility tokens are nothing. It's a product, right? Overwhelmingly. Even in the United States, it's literally like selling widgets, right? And you have to be very careful that what you believe to be a utility token is in fact utility token. There's no real regulation around it because it's just a thing. It's a product, if you will, right? It may have some intrinsic value, but so do baseball cards, right? Like collectibles, or, it's like NFTs, right? So in any event, you look at two places: Singapore, which has this quasi-license endorsement for utility token offerings, right? And it's not so much a license as it is because it only deals with utility tokens, a approval, if you will, similar to like a registered offering of securities, whether it be tokenized or not. And I always question what the value is, right? Because it is a process. It can take months, and there is a fair amount of documentation that you have to submit, and there's obviously a cost. And I wonder, like, what's the value? Like, is it the optics or the air of legitimacy that it provides? That would probably be the only thing I could think of, right? That would justify doing it. Because you can go anywhere, right? The United States, EU, UK, and just sell the utility token, being very, very, very careful to make sure that you're not, well, one, just misleading people in general, but two, that you are not selling a security, whether you know it or not. So that's the big thing. So people are selling it and selling it and selling it. So I look. Then we come to Anguilla, right? Anguilla does have utility token issuer license, right? Here's the thing. Anguilla isn't good for anything. Like, from a financial services standpoint, there's nothing you would really ever get there, right? Like, I mean, even if you could, right? It's very closed. It's closed economy. It's not, to this day, really known to be a place where you would get licensed. Yeah, getting a company and asset protection and all that's one thing, but just as a financial services hub, it's not ideal, right? Yet somehow they decided to come up with this whole range of utility token issuer and then service provider licenses. And to date, only one company's been licensed, and as a service provider, not as an issuer. And so the question becomes, like, what are you getting, right? Because Anguilla, it's actually relatively expensive, almost $8,000 to just incorporate, right? And then you're paying like license fees of almost $15,000, and you do have to go through this regulatory like review to sell a utility token, which I presume this is what people are trying to sell. I don't know, but then again, no one's gotten through either. So the question is, why would you do it? And I don't know why, right? Like, again, is there an air of legitimacy by having something licensed by the Anguilla Financial Services Commission? I don't think so, right? Because I could simply just set up a company in BVI for $1,200 and sell the utility token and be transparent and have a good product, and like everything goes on from there. So what you're getting, conceivably, like, assuming you even could, because it doesn't look like either anybody's applied or anybody's gotten it, or maybe they just don't even update their website. I don't know, but I can't find anybody. And I guess the question becomes, why do it? And my answer would be don't, because I just don't see the value, right? It's a rather expensive investment to sell something that would otherwise cost you nothing to sell elsewhere, right? And to be subject to like ongoing reporting and stuff like that when you wouldn't otherwise have to doesn't make any sense. And again, this is just utility tokens, right? Security tokens are totally another ballgame, but this is literally like, you know, inventing Bitcoin and going into an Aquila to do an ICO, right? Or if Ethereum got their license in Anguilla and did their ICO there, right? Like it doesn't make any sense, nor does it legitimize the efficacy of that token sale, like in the United States, right? They don't care. So I guess my point is, what's the point, right? Like it's just not, there's no value in it. So that's sort of my rant. And I see them all the time, pop up, and even got emails asking about it, but I don't know why anybody would ever do it, because like if you are a utility token, you literally are nothing. You're not regulated. So why intentionally be regulated and intentionally pay fees that you don't need to pay and intentionally report on an ongoing basis just to sell a digital asset? Makes zero sense to me. So I guess beware, but if you really want to spend the money, have at it. In any event, Adam Tracy at Adam Tracy, TRACY.io. Feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.